The Goodyear City Council meeting. We're excited to have you be a part of this important public process. Tonight, you will have the opportunity to address City Council on both non-agenda and agenda items. You must fill out a speaker request card in order to address the City Council. The agendas and speaker request cards are located in the back of the council chambers. Please drop your completed card in the tray next to the blank speaker cards. If the meeting has already begun, please hand it to the city employee at the back of the room. You may check the "I do not wish to speak" option on the card. This allows you to let council know your opinion without having to speak. In accordance with the Americans with Disabilities Act, please contact a staff member if you need any assistance. Public comment on a non-agenda item will take place during the citizen comment portion of the evening. These are items that don't appear on tonight's formal agenda. The city clerk will call your name when it's time for you to speak. At that time, please approach the podium and tell us your name for the record. You'll have a maximum of 3 minutes. The timer is on the screens visible from the podium. Note that you may also choose not to speak if other speakers before you have said what you wanted to say. Shouting, cheering, and loud noises will not be tolerated, and violators may be removed for disrupting the meeting. Goodyear City Council meetings stream live on Facebook, YouTube, X, and online at goodyearaz.gov. Follow the city's social media pages so you don't miss out on all that's happening in Goodyear. Thank you for coming to this meeting and being an active part of your city. And remember, it's a great time to be in Goodyear.
I'd like to call the regular meeting to order, May 19th, 2025. City Cleaning, we have everybody here present? All here? Thank you. Please join Councilmember Hampton in the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Gracious and wise God, we thank you for the gift of this day and for the opportunity to serve our community. As we gather here in leadership, we ask for your guidance, wisdom, and humility in all that we do. We lift up our city and pray for the safety of all who live, work, and visit here. Protect our neighborhoods from harm and bless those who serve on the front lines, our police officers, firefighters, emergency responders, and public safety personnel. Grant them courage, integrity, and strength as they carry out their duties. We also give thanks for our dedicated city staff. Thank you for their hard work, their commitment to excellence, and their faithful service. May they be supported, appreciated, and equipped for every task before them. We're grateful for the citizens who call this place home, those who raise families, run businesses, and contribute to the life of our city. May their voices be heard, their needs respected, and their dreams nurtured through our decisions today. We especially thank you for the volunteers, those who give their time and energy to serve others, build community, and care for the vulnerable. Bless them with encouragement and joy in their efforts. Lord, we ask for your guidance as we work to strengthen our local economy. Grant us insight as we seek to promote growth, provide opportunity, and support the well-being of every resident. May this council lead with wisdom, compassion, and courage. May every decision made here today serve the common good and reflect our shared commitment to justice, peace, and hope. In your name, we pray. Amen.
Thank you.
Do you tell them that there are some seats down here, the ones that are standing in the back?
There are some seats down here towards the front and the side if all of you are looking for some seats.
Like church, you gotta scoot in.
Yes. Come on down. There's some right here, huh?
Get everybody settled. It's always nice to see a full house. With that, we have one communication item tonight. The first item is to recognize Parks and Recreation Director Nathan Torres for after over 17 years with the city. Nathan, would you please come forward, here you are, to be recognized, and I will turn it over to the Deputy City Manager, Justin Fair. And when you're done, don't go anywhere. Stay there, okay? Go ahead.
All right, Mayor, Council, thank you. Nathan, with us here. And I think we've got a slideshow that we're going to pull up here that we'll run in the background on cue. Perfect. There we go. It is my privilege and honor to recognize an extraordinary individual whose dedication and leadership leaves a lasting impact on the city of Goodyear. Our recently retired, as of 1 week, Parks and Recreation Director Nathan Torres. Nathan began his nearly 18 years of service with the city in 2007. In 2009, he became the ballpark manager when the Goodyear Ballpark opened for spring training. And in 2013, his natural leadership and expertise quickly led to his promotion to Parks and Recreation Director, so 12 years in that role. Nathan's impact on our community has truly been immeasurable. He played a key role in designing and delivering transformative facilities such as the Goodyear Ballpark, our beautiful recreation campus, the Georgia T. Lord Library, and our Civic Square Park right out front. Now, his efforts also resulted in the creation of over 18 parks, extensive recreation programs.
Good picture, Nathan. Yeah.
Yes, that's a great picture right there. 18 parks, extensive recreation programs, public art, and special events that have enriched the lives of countless residents. And throughout his career, Nathan has been a proven leader and a true public servant. He is known not only for results, but for unwavering enthusiasm and positivity in all circumstances. He's also the only director to receive cookies and a call to public at a council meeting.
That's right.
So in recognition of his dedication, Nathan received the 2021 Gabe Zimmerman Public Service Award in the Community Builder category, a true testament to his ability to engage the public and serve the community, especially through the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. And today, Nathan, we recognize you for your vision, heart, and many years of outstanding public service and legacy that you leave behind with the staff and impact our community. And many of the staff members are here. And that is truly one thing we talk about, your legacy. It's your love, your passion for the staff and also the community and the amenities. So Nathan, on behalf of the city staff and the citizens, we want to thank you. Your legacy is truly one to be proud of and makes Goodyear a better place for all. So we do want to have just a small plaque and appreciation for that. So with that, Mayor, we'll turn it back over to you.
Before I turn over to council, would you like to say something?
Actually, yeah, if I may, Mayor, thank you.
Go ahead.
And I'll be brief, but it's been an absolute, I'm humbled and appreciative to have been on this fantastic journey with you. Together we have accomplished many great things. For that, I'm thankful for my family, all the city staff, and everyone here that we work with. But as we reflect back, I think it's important to also look forward. And the greatest Goodyear stories are those that are yet to be told. And I believe that strongly with council's leadership, the outstanding and amazing city staff, phenomenal staff. They're passionate, they're dedicated. And then our citizenry that are actively involved. Goodyear is destined for greatness. So with that, Mayor, I just wanted to thank you for everything and for the journey. It's been a privilege.
Okay, don't go anywhere. Go ahead and open up the council. Let's start to the left. Anything on the left?
It's fine.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Trey. And
Yeah,
Vicky.
I just very briefly, Nathan, thank you for your service and just enjoy retirement. It's well earned.
Vicky.
Nathan, the Gabe Zimmerman Award is a very big deal, and I think that was well deserved. I'm really glad that you got that. Thanks for your service to this city. Appreciate it.
Brandon?
Yeah, thank you so much for your dedicated service and really your leadership in helping us really set up the Parks Department here really in the city. I mean, with the stadium and the rec center and all the different accomplishments that you've been able to spearhead and lead and set us up for a really bright future here. So I really appreciate all your efforts, and you'll definitely be missed. So thank you.
We have a
Congratulations on your
great
retirement.
team in
Yeah.
Parks and Rec, for sure.
Benita?
Yes, Nathan, as a former vice chair of the Parks and Recs Commission, I really thank you for all that you have done for Goodyear and Goodyear Parks and Recs. But you've done an outstanding job. Best wishes to you in your new endeavors.
Go ahead.
Well, a public sector career is a good career, and you've really been a shining example of what it takes to be that servant leader out in the community. It is true, you've built a great legacy, you've done great things, you've set us up well for the future, but I'm excited for this next phase of your life and to see what Nathan 2.0, 3.0 looks like. So we wish you the very best.
Thank you.
Wally?
Well, Nathan, we go back over 20 years, so I've seen you from when you were at Peoria and now here. And our legacy of all of our parks is really due to you and your vision for what you wanted to accomplish here. And we thank you for being so adaptive. I don't care what I've asked you to do. You've never said no. You said, we'll figure it out. And it didn't matter if I needed a storage for 50 turkeys or if I needed to put 1,000 toys, hide them somewhere for fill a need. You were always there for us, and I want to thank you so much. You're going to be missed, but you deserve this wonderful retirement, and we hope that you just enjoy every single day.
Thank you.
You know, as I talked to you before about retirement, you know, a person as busy as you are, you got to find something, you know, otherwise they'll go stir crazy. So I hope you find something to do that'll keep you busy. Is it fishing? I know you got a pole when we wrote that piece out there, so it might be fishing. But again, you know, you surround yourself with a great team, and I'm a firm believer. It's all about the team, you know, and as the leader, you did a great job of surrounding yourself with that. So again, good luck on retirement. Enjoy yourself. You well deserved. So with that, can you join us in the well here? Just come on around, and we've got a resolution we're going to read here.
And one last thing from me, parks matter.
Whereas Nathan Torres began his nearly 18 years of service with the City of Goodyear in 2007 as our stadium manager and became the ballpark manager 2 years later when the Goodyear Ballpark opened for the inaugural spring training season. And whereas with his natural leadership ability and previous expertise in the leisure industry, Nathan was understandably promoted to the position of Parks and Recreation Director in 2013. And whereas Nathan Torres has been a proven leader and public servant for decades, he is known for his enthusiasm and positivity in all situations. And whereas his devotion to our community has never ceased, Nathan helped design and deliver transformative facilities, including the Goodyear Ballpark, the Goodyear Recreation Campus, the Georgia T. Lord Library, and the Civic Square Park. And whereas Nathan's desire to provide respite and getaways for the public to experience by themselves or with family also resulted in the formation of more than 18 parks, countless recreation programs, library services, public art, and highly acclaimed special events to ensure there were opportunities to enhance the quality of life for everyone. And whereas to further demonstrate Nathan's dedication to service, he received the 2021 Gabe Zimmerman Public Service Award in the Community Builder category for his hard work in driving public engagement in the design of the recreation campus, as well as for his efforts to keep Goodyear residents connected throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Joe Pizzillo, Mayor of Goodyear, Arizona, does hereby recognize and honor the outstanding contributions of Nathan Torres and thanks him for his vision, his heart, and outstanding years of public service. Congratulations.
Congratulations. You guys want to come down and get a shot with Nathan here? Get the council here behind us. Get a shot. We'll go over this way. Is that out of the way?
All right, maybe a little tighter. There we go. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Thank you. Congratulations. Next on the agenda is to approve appointments and reappointments to boards and commissions and committees. Do we have any speakers?
No, Mayor.
Will the council please enter a motion, a second, to approve the appointments and reappointments to the Judicial Advisory Committee and Youth Commission as recommended by the council subcommittee on boards, commissions, and committees? I see a motion and a second up on the board. Go ahead and open it up. Can we get a vote? Passes 7-0. Now, what happens at this point? City Clerk, please read those in attendance forward and administer their oath of office.
If I call your name, go ahead and come down into the well and we'll do your oath of office. And I apologize in advance if I mispronounce your name. Araya Singh, Alina Torres, Alexander Piatek, Alexa Lofels, Alexander Alexandrovich, Aliyah Raphael, Braxton Elliott, Catalina Hernandez, Eliana Mensa, Elias Rangel, Ella Brinker, Erica Ivaturi, Ethan Murillo, Harrison Zatab, Hayden Puetz, Hillary Remuera, Jason Janoski, Jalen Colvin, John Van Rieden III, Juliet Bourne, Caden Keller, Quado Domo, Kendall Datcher, Liana Castro, Maddie Cohenetz, Malek Abdul Gawad, Piper MacArthur, Rachel Barnes, Riley Bynum, Ryan Miguel Downey, Shekina Kabamba, Shivansh Jasrosha, Tay Anderson, Vivan Sharma, and Mitchell Mancosa. You guys want to, we can do a couple layers, if you'd like. Go ahead and scooch in. Oh, I mic'd up. Okay, we're going to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly affirm. That I will support the Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution and laws of the state of Arizona. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. And defend them against all enemies. Foreign and domestic. And that I will faithfully. And impartially. Discharge the duties. Of Commissioner. According to the best of my ability. So I do affirm. Congratulations.
It's a large group. Now is the time for members of the public who wish to address the city council on any non-agenda items within the jurisdiction of City of Goodyear. We have any speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
Okay. Will the city clerk please read the consent agenda items 3 through 10 by title only?
Got a mouthful. Item 3, approval of minutes. Item 4, approve budget amendments and related expenditure authority. Item 5, adopt water resource allocation policy. Item 6, adopt resolution number 2025-2464, authorizing acquisition of real and personal property interests needed for the completion of construction of the brine disposal pipeline improvements project. Item 7, adopt resolution number 2025-2465, authorizing the acquisition of real and personal property interests needed for the Estrella Parkway Vineyard Avenue to MC 85 improvements project. Item 8, Adopt Resolution Number 2025-2466, authorizing the submission of an application for 12% gaming distribution funds to the Tohono O'odham Nation, authorizing the city manager to execute all documents relating to said applications, and authorizing the city manager to execute a grant agreement if grant funds are awarded, and authorizing the city manager to approve the required budget transfer if grant funds are awarded. Item 9, adopt resolution number 2025-2467, approving and adopting a document entitled the City of Goodyear Municipal User Fee Schedule, replacing and superseding the municipal user fee schedule adopted by resolution number 2023-2307 as amended by resolution 2023-2368 and resolution 2025-2443, and providing for an effective date. Item 10, adopt resolution number 2025-2468, designating the chief fiscal officer for officially submitting the fiscal year 2026 expenditure limitation report to the Arizona Auditor General.
Does anybody on council wish to remove an item? Seeing none, can we have a motion and a second on the board? I see a motion and a second on the board. All right, go ahead and open it up. Passes 7-0. Thank you. We have one public hearing tonight. We will conduct a public hearing to consider the annexation of Liberty Elementary School District Number 25. Open a public hearing.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Katie Wilkin, Development Services Director. I wanted to introduce this item. It's an annexation for Liberty Elementary School. And as you may remember, as we discussed at the last meeting with annexations, there are 3 touch points with City Council during the annexation process. 1 business item to receive authorization, and then 2 public hearings. This annexation is at that stage 2, so it is a public hearing, but there is no action necessary from council except conducting the public hearing itself tonight. You may remember at April 28th, there was an action item before City Council on the Litchfield Elementary School District annexation. That was for an intergovernmental agreement, which is related to this project, but separate from the annexation process. So tonight is simply the public hearing to receive public input. So with that, I will introduce Principal Planner Guadalupe Ortiz-Cortez, who will go over the case.
Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Good evening, Mayor, Council members. Guadalupe Ortiz-Cortez, Principal Planner. Before you is a public hearing to receive public input on the Liberty Elementary School District annexation. The subject property is approximately 16.25 acres located north of West Lower Buckeye, east of South Perryville Road, and west of the Provera residential subdivision. The red dashed line on the screen shows the city and county boundary. The property has been acquired by the Liberty Elementary School District number 25 and is intended to be and is actually under construction for the Liberty Elementary School number 8. This annexation request was first presented to City Council in September 2024. At this meeting, City Council authorized staff to proceed with the possible consideration of the annexation. Since then, staff and the applicant worked on an intergovernmental agreement, an AGA, outlining various conditions and requirements that the applicant must complete in order for the city to continue consideration of the possible annexation. As Katie mentioned, this was approved by City Council last month on April 28th. Tonight, as required by state law, we are conducting a public hearing to receive any public input for the annexation. There is no action required or necessary from City Council tonight. The next step in the annexation process is for the applicant to meet the conditions and requirements set forth on the IGA, after which the city staff will schedule the public hearing, the second and last public hearing before City Council to make a final consideration on the annexation. Staff used the city annexation policy criteria to review the annexation application. This policy criteria includes the ability to serve the property, long-term desirability, likelihood that the property would develop in the county, and the general plan compatibility. Additionally, the annexation evaluation criteria included city's ability to provide basic services to the property. the Liberty Elementary School District is responsible for constructing half-street improvements along Lower Buckeye and all water and wastewater infrastructure improvements as well. These items were identified on the IGA, and staff and the applicant are working on completing those required responsibilities. As mentioned previously, the purpose of tonight's public hearing is to receive any public comments on the annexation proposal. No action is needed or required from council tonight. The second and final public hearing before the city council will be held at a later date after the applicant completes the IGA responsibilities. Mayor, council members, this concludes my presentation. I am available to answer any questions.
Does the applicant have anything they want to add at this point?
They are in attendance.
Okay, it's fine. Any speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
Anybody in the audience like to say anything? All right, with that, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. I'll open it up for any discussion from any members here on the council. Any comments?
Let's do it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We have 3 items on business. I would like to remind council to wait for motion and a second before discussion. First item is the adoption of the tentative budget for fiscal year 2026 and set a public hearing. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Ryan Biddle, the Finance Manager of Budget and Research here at the City of Goodyear, and I'm here to present our fiscal year 2026 tentative budget in the amount of $1,240,703,500. So here's an overview of our presentation, the primary focus of which will be on any changes from the City Manager's recommended budget when we last met in April until now. But before we begin, for the benefit of the public, I do want to share a quick recap of the steps the city has taken already to get to where we are tonight in the budget adoption process. The 2026 budget process officially kicked off back in calendar year 2024 with extensive collaboration and dozens of meetings between departments, the city manager's office, and budget staff, discussing available resources and the needs for the upcoming fiscal year. All these touch points, in addition to talking about our strategic plan, which was adopted by council in November, all became forefront of the conversations and acted as a roadmap in development of the budget, helping us prioritize funding and ensuring timely delivery of associated strategic plan action items. In February, a 5-year general fund forecast was presented as part of the council retreat, creating the foundation off of which the 2026 budget was built. In April, we met again at an extended work session where we had in-depth discussions on department requests as part of the city manager's recommended budget. All of those steps bringing us to where we are here tonight with our tentative budget adoption. So let's get into some of those changes. When we talk about tentative budget adoption and changes from our city manager's recommended budget, you can't have that conversation without talking about carryovers. As is the case with a lot of municipalities, carryovers are the primary driver of changes as part of our tentative budget adoption. So what are carryovers? Carryovers are simply an administrative process that aligns the timing of one-time expenditures with the fiscal year that we anticipate these expenditures to hit. To a lesser extent, carryovers also can involve one-time revenues. But the key takeaway here is that carryovers do not change amounts that have been previously approved or funded by council. Only the timing of when we expect these transactions to occur is changing. Additionally, because this exercise is completed by finance, there is no impact to city operations, which allows staff and project managers to operate business as usual. Later in August, right around the same time we close the prior fiscal year, a true-up or reconciliation, if you will, is done, ensuring all transactions and associated budget authority are recorded and updated accurately in our financial systems. Details of our carryovers have been attached to this agenda item, making them available both to council and for the benefit of the public. So if we go through the reconciliation of what changed, starting with sources, our sources changed about $270 million from our April work session. And right on cue, carryovers actually count for all of the changes in resources. This $268 roughly million figure that you're seeing is what we're carrying over, and the $2.5 million right below that is just the shifting and timing of associated subsidies to support these carryovers. On the expenditure side, there was a change of about $325 million. The the majority again coming from these same carryover amounts. Items number 1 and 2 on the list is just a breakdown of the $268 million that we just showed between CIP and non-CIP items. Items number 3 and 4 are related and relate to a handful of smaller true-up items. To offset those costs, we've reduced our future year set aside accordingly to have a zero impact on the budget. Item number 5, this was mentioned in our April work session as an adjustment we'd bring to you, and covers the cost of a development agreement with Fulton Homes, who will be reimbursed for installing additional public infrastructure above and beyond the normal requirements to help the city avoid a scallop street situation. This is at the southeast corner of Estrella Parkway in Yuma. Items number 6 and 7, we were not unfortunately able to secure sponsorship revenue to offset the cost of Real Ice for our Holiday Square event. So per previous discussions, we've moved the incremental cost for the Real Ice into contingency for other potential purposes in next year's budget, and we will move forward with the lower cost synthetic ice option just as we did this past holiday season. Item number 8, we had a bulk trash vehicle that we've extended past its useful life in an effort to save money. Unfortunately, it's recently broken down again, so this makes financial sense to replace it, so this is giving them the budget authority to do so. Item number 9, ballpark liner, another item that we discussed in our April work session. These dollars were in our CIP, but they were sitting in fiscal year 27. So all we're doing is moving the dollars from 27 to 26 so we can continue marketing and eventually leasing one of our commercial spaces at the ballpark. It also includes an additional amount for Bruce, so he has money to store the equipment and supplies that are currently sitting in those spaces. And item number 10, contingency for expenditure authority. These are our CIP reserve dollars we program every year into contingency at time of tentative budget adoption, ensuring we have sufficient resources to fund future years of our CIP. So Mayor and Council, before you is Resolution 2025-2469, which adopts the fiscal year 2026 expenditure limitation at $1,240,703,500 and sets the date of our public hearing on both the final budget as well as truth and taxation. Tonight, you're being asked to adopt this resolution, authorizing us to complete all required publications. On June 9th, we'll have our public hearing, and at a special meeting immediately following that, adopt the budget. A few weeks later, we'll get back together on June 23rd, and we'll have the property levy adoption. With that, I'm available for any questions council may have.
Any speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
Anybody in the audience like to speak? Seeing none, will the city clerk please read resolution number 2025-2469 by title only?
Adopt resolution number 2025-2469, adopting the fiscal year 2025-2026 estimates of revenues and expenses for the city of Goodyear, including estimated property tax levy and property tax rates as the tentative budget for fiscal year beginning July 1, 2025 and ending June 30, 2026, setting forth the receipts and the amounts estimated as collectible for the previous fiscal year, the amount proposed to be raised by direct property taxation for the various purposes, giving notice of the time for hearing taxpayers for adoption of budget and setting the tax levies.
Thank you. Will the council please enter a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 2025-2469? See a motion and a second on the board. Open up for discussion. First up, Brandon Hampton. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, thank you for all the hard work. I know, like you said, we've been talking about this since last year. I said a quick question also, a couple of questions. The first one, is this our first $1 billion budget for the city of Goodyear?
It is our first $1 billion budget, yes.
I thought we passed the threshold there, so just interesting data point. So 2025, first $1 billion budget, okay. And then for the rink, going back to that slide, what is the cost of the fake synthetic one compared to the actual having ice there?
I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but it's closer in the $100,000 range versus the closer to $400,000 to $500,000 where the real ice would have been.
Okay.
Hold on, I think you might get an answer here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Mayor, Councilmember Hampton, David Side, Interim Parks and Recreation Director. The cost for the synthetic ice is about $170,000.
Okay, so we're saved, so the difference is about $377,000.
This is the $377,000 that we had presented to you in April, correct?
Okay, it's disappointing. I mean, I'd love to have the real ice, but I know it is, $377,000 is a lot of money for real ice, so. But, and is that the placeholder right now, or we took that out, or in case we do find secure sponsorship by that time?
Hold on a minute, I think the city manager would like to say something.
Yeah, at our retreat or our budget workshop, I mentioned that we would try and find sponsorships to cover the difference in the cost. But if we couldn't do that by the tentative budget, we would go back to the synthetic. There is $377,000. We were only able to come up with about $25,000. So this year we'll be going back to the synthetic ice. But staff and I have been talking, and that gives us a year to look for sponsorships next year. The reason we also had to make the change was we had to get the contract and implement that by middle of May in order to have anything for the holiday. So
Well, that
yeah.
makes sense, especially the timing of it, so.
Yeah.
I was just curious, because that's one thing that we had talked about. Everything else looks fine. I'm excited for the ballpark liner project. I think that'll be a great thing too, to help get some, hopefully a restaurant or something over in that area as well. So, yeah, good job. I'm looking forward to approving it here in the future. Thank you.
Councilmember Terry?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Hampton mentioned, how this is our first billion-dollar budget. Can you describe our tax rates from year to year? Is there any tax rate that is increasing with this budget?
Thank you, Mayor and Councilmember Terry. There are no tax rate increases included in this budget.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to make that clear. And then on the public safety side, can you just talk through, I know we're increasing fire, but especially with police, how many officers are we adding with this budget?
Thank you, Mayor, Councilmember Terry. So this budget includes roughly, I'm pulling it up as we speak. So we have.
Hold on, Chief.
Sorry,
I think the chief's got the
might be able to
number.
beat me to it.
Mayor, Councilmember Terry. So this budget will include 21 police officers of the 29 full-time employees that we are acquiring.
Okay, so that's in addition to the Real-Time Crime Center, the staff for that, 21 new sworn.
21
police.
sworn.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I just wanted to highlight those two items, and I know Chief, you, City Manager, getting our numbers up, getting you the tools that you need to keep our streets safe. That's been a top priority for all of us up here. So I just want to highlight those items. We are not increasing taxes with this budget, and we are adding a significant amount of law enforcement personnel on our streets. So with that, I am.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor Campbell?
Thank you, Mayor. There are several things in this budget that I'm not comfortable with. However, this is for the good of the city. We need to spend in certain areas that we've not been able to spend before because we have not had the revenue. So I'm supporting it. I'm going to vote aye, although I'm not real comfortable with some of the sections of it. But you knew that already, so thank you.
Councilmember Kano?
I just wanted to point out to the public that we have gone through this budget item in work sessions, like line by line by line. So there's been a lot of very thorough discussion about each and every item. And $1 billion budget is very complex. It represents the growth going on in our city, but it's something that we all take very seriously. And I think that our commitment to public safety and just infrastructure is really reflected in this. So I'll also support the budget.
Go ahead, Councilmember Gillis.
I'm going to say that I agree with Councilmember Kano and that I absolutely support the budget. It wasn't easy. It's a large budget, but I do believe we were really needing public safety and some of the different things that we just couldn't put off anymore. We put them off long enough. So I think that we have done a good job with this budget. I think that the city manager and you and everybody else that's been involved in this, and the chiefs also have done a good job with this budget, realizing what we finally needed and implementing it. So I am supporting this budget as well.
Thank you. The thing I like about this is if you look at all the stuff that's added, and I know eventually we're going to get an executive summary that breaks down the positions, that breaks down all the capital projects, so that when we're out in the public, we can explain, the big bulk of where that money is going to. But 67%, if I recall the calculation, is all first responders. 67% of the new stuff. So we recognize that's where the money's got to go. You know, like Councilmember Terry mentioned and the other council members mentioned, is that is our priority here, and the fact that 67% of our new stuff is going to that. So with that, I'm in favor of this budget as well. So that, can we open up for a vote? 7-0. Also, I want to mention that this is this budget cannot be added. So the next budget that comes back has got to be either it or lower, okay? So just for the public that's out there. All right, with that, let's go to the second one. Second item is authorizing expenditures in excess of $500,000 for fiscal year 2026. Again, introduce yourself just for the public.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. Ryan Biddle, Finance Manager of Budget and Research here at the City of Goodyear. There is no formal presentation for this item. However, I do want to provide some context around what is being requested from Council. So historically, finance has come before you just as I am right now, each year at this time to ask for pre-approval of routine expenditures in excess of $500,000 as part of the upcoming fiscal year's budget. In compliance with procurement code revisions adopted on April 28th, this action seeks council approval for all specifically identified budgeted expenditures in excess of $500,000 as listed in the attached document. Any expenditure over $500,000 that is subject to the procurement code and not listed, or any listed item that exceeds the amount adopted tonight will need future council approval prior to the issuance of a contract, a purchase order, change order, or notice to proceed. In future years, this item will be included as part of adoption of the budget. And I'm available if there's any questions.
Can I get a motion and a second to authorize the fiscal year 2026 list of expenditures of $500,000 or more? I see a motion and a second. Open for council discussion. You got something? Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, yeah, looking through it, I mean, there's a lot of great projects on here, the over $500,000 with the bridge and a lot of roads and fire station remodels, things like that. So I'm excited to see these on the budget and getting started. So thank you.
Councilmember Terry.
Sorry, one more. Just to clarify, these are expenditures that were already in the budget, correct?
Mayor and Councilmember Terry, yes, correct.
All right, just want to make that clear. Thank you.
Okay, with that, can we open it up for a vote? Thank you. It passes 7-0. Let's see, the last one, you back up again. To consider establishing OPEB trust to safeguard funds for retirees' health benefits.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council.
All right.
My name is Jared Askelson. I'm the finance director here with the City of Goodyear. Tonight, we're going to take action on establishing a trust for retiree health care. We'll look at previous council actions that have been taken on this topic, talk about the benefits of forming this trust, a comparison of pay-as-you-go financing or pre-funding of these benefits, also the impact on our OPEB, which is other post-employment benefits, the specific liability that we will have in our financial statements, the implementation steps going forward, and then also a summary of the recommendations. So looking at previous actions back in December of 2023, council took action to set aside a benefit plan, adopted a benefit plan for retiree health care. In the June 10th adoption of the final budget, council set aside $3.4 million specifically to pre-fund benefits going forward. And as part of the plan, each year we have $3.4 million for the next 5 years earmarked for that purpose. How did it jump around there? Okay. And then council adopted the policy in June of 2024, about 2 weeks after the budget was adopted, and set the effective date of the plan of July 1st, 2024. There are currently 22 retirees on this plan. Some of the benefits of the trust, in addition to just setting aside funds to guarantee these benefits are available in the future, there are additional investment options available for the trust that allow for higher investment income potential. There's reduced liability on our financial statements by setting up this trust. The pre-funding also mitigates some of the rising costs of the plan, and then also the Government Finance Officers Association considers this a best practice for our post-employment benefits to have a trust set aside for that purpose. A little comparison of pay-as-you-go financing versus pre-funding. Essentially, if we had $150,000 of OPEB costs without the trust, or if we were to pay as we went, it would cost us $150,000. The example that we have with a trust, using a 6.5% interest rate over a 10-year period, because we say that an employee must be with the city for 10 years, retire after 10 years in order to receive the benefits. So we did the calculation of 6.5% over 10 years would generate about $70,000 in investment returns. So the total cost to the city would be about $79,000. On our financial statements, we actually have to have a third party do an actuarial study and do the math to see what is the liability to the city for these benefits. Without the trust in place, the best we could do is use a 3.96% interest rate that would have an actuarial liability that we'd have to put on our financial statements of almost $33 million. With the trust in place, we can use a 6.5% interest rate. That would bring us in under $25 million. So our liabilities will be less on our financial statements, and the overall cost to the city will be less as well. As part of the actions that we have before you tonight, we have an investment policy, and we wanted to just give you kind of some benchmarks that we were looking to compare against. ASRS, Arizona State Retirement System, the Public Safety Personnel Retirement Systems, both have trusts similar to this. Their breakdown fixed income to equity you see is around 30% fixed income to 70% equity. And our investment policy, we're a little bit more conservative. We're at the 40% fixed income and 60% for equity and alternative. Implementation steps going forward. So first of all, backing up to December, we went out with a request for information for vendors to help us set up this trust. We selected a vendor back in March to get us to this point where we're looking for council to authorize the creation of the trust, adopt the policies, the investment and the funding policies, appoint an administrator, and then authorize that administrator to take action to form the trust. After this action tonight, we will be looking to execute all of the appropriate documents by the end of the week, and then begin funding in June so that we can have that on our financial statements for the close of this fiscal year. So summary of the actions tonight: authorizing the trust itself, adopting the funding and withdrawal policy as well as the investment policy, appointing the trust city administrator, which will be the finance director, that is me, and then authorizing that city administrator to execute all the necessary documents to carry out the action of forming this trust. And with that, any comments or questions, I'm available.
Any speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
Anybody else like to say anything? No? City Clerk, please read the resolution number 2025-2470 by title only.
Adopt resolution number 2025-2470, authorizing the establishment of an irrevocable other post-employment benefits trust, OPEB trust, adopting an OPEB trust funding and withdrawal policy, adopting an OPEB trust investment policy, appointing the finance director as the OPEB trust city administrator, and authorizing the OPEB trust city administrator to execute any and all documents necessary to carry out the intent of this resolution.
Thank you. Council, please enter a motion and a second to adopt resolution 2025-2470. I see a motion and a second up on the board. Let's open for discussion. First one up, Vice Mayor Campbell.
Well, our city values our employees, and I am so grateful that we have been able to take this step, because when someone has worked for an organization 10 years or more, they need to have retirement coverage somehow for their health insurance. It's just something that I don't know that very many cities do, and I'm so glad that we're on the forefront of it. And I know that our council talked many, many hours and many days and months and years on this. We've been talking about this, and it's wonderful that it's actually going to come to fruition. And I know our employees are grateful for it. And this is just the start of something really, it really is going to help people that want to come to work here, because they know they'll be able to get health benefits when they retire. They don't have to retire on they don't have to rely just on Medicare. they are going to have help from the city so that we can take care of them and their families. So thank you very much, Jared. I know this has been a lot of work, but we appreciate it.
Councilmember Hampton?
Yeah, thank you for putting this all together. I had questions on, did we go out to bid for the people that were using, like Hilltop and HYAS?
So we didn't have to go out for a bid, sorry, Mayor, Councilmember Hampton. We didn't have to go out for a bid, but we went out for a request for information because it was more, it wasn't specifically on a cost basis, like a bid would be, but rather based on their skills, their experience that they have. Specifically, we were looking for somebody that had OPEB experience, not just pension experience or the like. So it was a pretty small group that we were looking at. And then we did make comparisons on what fees would be going from there. But it was a request for information, more qualifications based than it was based on the cost itself.
How many people did you have to choose from?
So we ended up with two companies that had the experience that we were looking for specifically with OPEB, which is a little bit, as Vice Mayor had mentioned, we're one of very few cities that have an OPEB trust or an OPEB at a retiree healthcare plan. So there wasn't a lot of people in the area that had necessarily OPEB-specific experience, but that was something we wanted to make sure that we got.
Yeah, I mean, I could look at a state too, other places as well.
Correct. Actually, the vendor we're looking at, Hilltop, is actually, they're located out of California. So we were looking for national groups. We weren't just looking for somebody in Arizona, but looking for somebody in the area that would at least be responsive to us as well. So that was one of the reasons why Hilltop was kind of coming to the top for us.
I didn't see in here also, what are the, you know, what the fees are, their management fees they're charging us?
The management fees are going to be listed in the contract that we're signing, and we can get that information to you with the weekly memo that goes out.
We'll see if they can do like NAV or something like that. So, I mean, it should be, especially for that large of an account potentially. So they should be able to do that for you. And 60/40, I know we're doing a 20-year time horizon there. You said that's conservative in the trust world for this type of thing?
It is. And we actually, the way the investment policy is written, and the funding policy for that matter, it's really written in a way that we can come back to council and revisit that in a few years. But as we kind of step into this, we wanted to be a little bit more conservative to start with, and then we can come back at a later date when we have a higher funding percentage. We can talk about the performance and if we want to modify the investment policy.
And then I also see their HYS is with Morgan Stanley. Are they only using Morgan Stanley funds or JP Morgan funds, or are they going to be more diversified?
More diversified.
Okay.
That specifically was one thing that we were looking at as well.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know if they're captured or, yeah, they kickbacks just for using their funds. So just to make sure that we're being smart about it. So, but yeah, I'd look into NAV if you can look at that. They should be able to do that for us. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Councilmember Beckles.
Yes, I'd like to echo the sentiments of Vice Mayor Campbell. This is bucking the trend of most cities. Most cities are not offering healthcare benefits for retirees. So I applaud Goodyear for looking into this and taking this forward for our employees. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to echo that as well. I mean, we've been after this for a long, long time, and I think it's a great recruiting tool. That's why when I do the yearly the monthly new employees, you know, I'm finding a lot of people coming here for our first responders from other places, and we can recruit the best and the brightest as a result. And that's the whole goal as well as this. So again, I appreciate all of this that you guys are doing for this to happen. With that, can we open it up, vote? Passes 7-0. Thank you. Does the council have any comments, commendations, or reports on current events or requests for future? Seeing none, the next meeting will be June 9th. Vote will be held to call an executive session for the following: pursuant to ARS 38-431, 1.03A1, and discussion with the city attorney regarding his annual performance evaluation. Can I get a motion and a second to go into executive session? I see a motion and a second on the board. Can I open it up for a vote? Seven, zero. Okay, we were going to adjourn back over into that other room over on the other side for the work session, right?
Are we going in the